We're recording now live.
Okay, and my name is Jim Johnson, and I'm happy to be here with my colleagues, and we're going to have a discussion about play concerns as we see them, and to offer the readership of the TASP newsletter different perspectives on what are considered the important concerns or issues. And I'm going to take the liberty of going first, and then my colleagues Michael, Patte, and Walter Drew will share their views on what they consider top concerns in our field of play studies and finding ways to use knowledge about play for profitable and useful applications. And of course, we all have to call in. So maybe before I start, I'll call my friends here, because I love the fact that in the olden days phones looked like this, and I'm disappointed now when we don't see this anymore, because kids have different kinds of phones, and they have to search out erasers or crayon boxes or something like that, and it's really better to have bananas when you want to talk, because we're up to monkey business here. Michael, are you still there? Or maybe he left to the restroom.
I'm here. Yeah.
Michael, how are you doing? Are you ready for this?
Thanks for reaching out on your banana phone.
Okay.
I was going to send you a text, but it doesn't work.
Is it okay that you're going to go second?
I'm fine going second.
Okay.
Walter, are you there?
Hello? Yeah, I'm here. Let's see. Oh, good.
Well, he was there.
Oh, Michael. Oh, yeah, I'm here somewhere. Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Yeah, we're all here just to prove it. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, golly, this is good. We're at the NAEYC conference here in
Yeah,
Nashville.
this is like a morning breakup time.
Nashville,
We're waking up, actually, so don't expect too much.
All right.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go to Jim now, I think.
Okay,
All right,
well,
let's do it.
I'll put my phone down and pay attention, and so I guess I'd like to just give some background, because it does go way back for me. When I was in graduate school, and they had what was called the Helen Schwartzman Sarah Smolansky debate, and this goes way back to the 1960s and 1970s, and there was a concern that play research that I was involved with, and others as well, like Sarah Smolansky herself, were doing research from a deficit model, and that Helen Schwartzman was an anthropologist, in her classic book Transformations, the anthropological study of children's play. She really tried to stress that we should just appreciate differences in play and not make judgments, and to be concerned that we have to improve the play of children. So I think right now, as I'm continuing in my capacity as a teacher educator at Penn State, to struggle with that issue, and to find a way of doing this in a way that is culturally sensitive, that we do feel that there are some universal values of play, and that you can be united with education. We can find good roles for the adult to promote quality play in children, but at the same time being respectful to cultural and racial and ethnic and linguistic differences. So that has remained a major concern, and I don't know if I should continue or elaborate more on that, or come back to it. Okay, let's give Michael a chance to share a concern he has.
So hi everyone, I'm Michael Patte, and I'm a teacher educator from Pennsylvania, and my training is in education, early childhood, elementary education. So I worked as a preschool teacher for many years, and then an elementary school teacher after that, and my journey to come to play deals with the amount of time that we were allowing children to engage in certain types of play at school, and then type of interactions we were having with the children during school, so the pedagogical approaches that we were endorsing. So I found one of the infringements on the child's right to play within the school classroom was, the curriculum was becoming more teacher-driven and didactic, and not as much based on the interests of the children themselves. And then outside of school during recess time, they didn't have the opportunity to engage in that unstructured child-initiated play. So, they weren't having fun in school as much, and then outside of school, time for play was restricted as well. And then I became interested in the implications that has for children's whole person development, their physical, social, emotional, cognitive, and creative, spiritual development. And so when I was struggling with all of these issues, I was doing my doctoral degree at Penn State, and Dr. Johnson had a few classes on the important role of play in the lives of children, and it struck a chord with me, and that's why I became interested in conducting research on children's play. So one of the first studies I ever did was trying to get fifth grade students' perceptions on, what play was and how important play was to them. So I did a little case study of my elementary school students' perceptions based on the work of Nancy King, who had done some work with kindergarten children years before. And then through Jim, I got introduced to the Association for the Study of Play and started to attend that conference, and kind of set me on a path for looking at how important play is. And so right now, my main focus is on infringements on the child's right to play, primarily in the school environment, and I'm trying now to teach or impart to the students who are studying to be teachers how important it is to advocate for children's play inside and outside of school, and to give them the tools and resources to be able to do that effectively. Mm-hmm. So that's where I'm at right now in my thinking and my work concerning play.
Good. I wonder what I should do. Should I jump in there?
Yeah.
Why don't you move over with Jim?
Sure.
I think I'm assuming. Can you look in there? Is this thing working? I'm going to just play around. There we go. Can you see if I'm in this thing, Michael?
Perfect.
Hello? Oh, excuse me, just a minute. Someone's calling in. Oh, yes. Of course. I'm so happy to hear you. But I wonder if I could call you back, because I'm here with Jim and Michael, and I think I really would like to continue with this conversation, okay?
Yeah, I want to prove that I'm still here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You
So,
are here.
and Walter inspired me with his cap the other day, so I got to have to.
Good for you, Jim. Good. Well, I'll be right back then. I'll get just hold a minute there. Yeah, well, in consideration of what I just heard from my two colleagues, Michael and Jim, one thing struck out when, Michael, you were talking about having resources that kind of relieve the infringement that both teachers and children suffer under. Especially in my case, I'm interested in the two things. One, the importance of applying within the play experience interesting three-dimensional objects or open-ended resources, given we know from all of the work and reading that we've read from Piaget and to others that concrete experiences, simple to concrete, concrete. Wait a minute now. Doesn't it go from simple to complex? Yeah, keep it simple. Simple to complex, concrete experiences. And having open-ended materials that our businesses typically throw away every day, like, bits and pieces of foam and fabric and etc., offers the children such a grand opportunity to truly explore and investigate, to focus their little minds through their fingers and their mind. Naturally, the mind will follow where the fingers go. And then if you do that in a way that's enjoyable to the children, their heart and soul, and therefore benefits at this higher level, this emotional being, begins to take form within the child, and they realize they have this enormous capacity to create and express themselves in ways that please them. And in those moments, they uncover interests that they have, like Jim and Michael have done, and I have done through the work of working with teachers to provide those kinds of active, self-active experiences to ensure that teachers rekindle their own reflections as a child and now as an adult connect and organize their own inner thinking and discover ways that these materials and these experiences can be applied in the classroom. And I feel that transition of having adult experiences, having opportunities for the teachers to explore themselves and remember how it is, how it feels to engage in those sorts of activities is a prime. I did say there were two things, yes. Well, the second one is not only is collaborative or parallel or cooperative play really important in our view, but the research that I've been involved with the Institute for Self-Active Education for about now 40 years that suggests that there is a place in our curriculum for what we'll call contemplative play, for quiet play, for solitary play. It's the normal human experiences to enjoy one's own company without the interruption of other dialogues that people might ask. So in that regard, we would like to suggest, I certainly would like to suggest, I think Jim and Michael would also like to suggest from the work we've been doing at NAEYC and the evidence we see in the presentations that we make, that teachers truly appreciate having the opportunity themselves to step back from their busy world, just like children would enjoy doing, and then to learn from those quiet moments that, holy cow, not only is cooperative play an important way of engaging children in developing language skills, etc., learning how to compromise and share, etc., but this whole experience of being with oneself, quieting down, centering, if you will, becoming more mindfulness, meditating. It's easier to do that. Oh, hold it just a second. I think I have a call coming in. Forgive me. It's just a moment. Hello?
Hi, Walter. This is Jim. I'm still here.
Where are you, Jim?
I'm right next to you.
Oh, of course.
But,
where did Michael go?
I don't know, but he'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I just wanted to know whether or not we're going to have round two, because I got to get ready.
I think round two is right here, Jim. Why don't you take it right now?
Michael wants to do round two.
Well, he can do it too. We'll do two rounds of two. You go first round, and then Michael go. How's that?
All right.
Good.
Because I had another thought, because I had a chance to listen to you guys, but I also was trying to reflect on what I had said, and I would just like to add briefly a thought or two, and then I guess we'd have a round two. So let me put my banana phone away. It's a distraction. You know, I might start eating my banana because I have poor delay of gratification. I can't hold off, and somebody might slip on the banana peel, and then we'd have a real mess here. But anyhow, you know, I started off by talking about the role of the adult and the debate about viewing play with deficit or just differences. And I remember discussions at the time, because it was called play intervention. You know, and I think we're all concerned with, you know, how to be careful when we're intervening in the lives of others. And they would always talk about the ethics of intervention, and I just wanted to say that the other side of that argument always was, well, what's the ethics of not intervening? Because that's there too. You got to make a decision. Are you gonna intervene or not? And if you choose not to intervene, that's an ethical challenge as well. And so we're here at the NAEYC conference where a major theme has been equity. And it's been in the play literature as well, play equity. And I think all of us have touched upon that theme in the sense that it's just not fair if children are deprived. As some kids have super opportunities for rich and complex play, and other kids are deprived of that. So that's unfair. They don't have good outdoor play spaces. They have curricula at school that are really constrained and narrow, and other kids have really super creative kinds of curriculum opportunities, the cream for the best and the heck with the rest kind of idea. And so I think what we're concerned about, what I'm concerned about, we're all concerned about, is trying to have play equity and finding ways of intervening that could actually improve the play state for children. All children have the right to play. And now I know we're going global, and we're trying to even move into developing countries. Lego, for instance, we know, and Sesame Street, they're going into other countries and finding ways to combine entertainment with education, play with education. And they're finding that you can do this in a culturally and linguistically, ethnically sensitive manner by taking a contextual view and working with people in different specific locations to have the important customs and traditions and themes and content of the children's everyday lives, the family's everyday lives, interweaved throughout the intervention itself. So it becomes a co-constructive model. And that's very gratifying to see how we're recognizing around the world the beauty of play for human well-being and development and learning, and to find ways of doing that are sensitive to the differences that exist amongst people. So I think that has become like the synthesis that we have from the earlier, thesis, antithesis model that we started off with, pitting a deficit model with a difference model, that now we're finding that this is not so in conflict after all, that it's just causing us to think more deeply about it and to find ways of doing this properly with the people that we're working with. Okay. So that was the second round for me.
Jimmy, you're passing the baton over to me now?
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
See ya. So, two things that sprung up to me during Walter and Jim's discussion further delve into this notion of infringements on the child's right to play are issues of access, which is tied into Jim's issue of equity, and commodification of play. And for some today, I think they believe in order for an experience to be a valuable experience, it has to be a bought experience. So what I've been trying to do with the students that I'm working with is to provide them with resources and ideas about how to make play accessible to everyone in the community. So, as Walter mentioned, with the renewable resource centers that he does work with in our play experience here, all of these materials are, cheap to free. So it's not about having expensive toys for children to play with. It's about providing time, space, and materials for children to engage in these open-ended materials that Walter's talking about. So my own children, when we were children, when we went to birthday parties, you went over to somebody's house and you played kick the can or spin the bottle or whatever. Today, children are going to bounce plexes and climbing walls and art painting barns, and it's very expensive for kids. And I never want our children or children that we work with to feel like they don't have the money to be able to go out and play. So what we've been doing at the university where I teach is having community play days or pop-up adventure playgrounds where we, collect all of these free materials, primarily from the university. And then, I reach out to Walter Drew, who sends me a big box of cool stuff. And then we, set it out for the children and families and invite them throughout the course of the semester to come and play. And we've impacted hundreds of local children and families in a very positive way. And I've talked to many of the parents who come to the events. And, it's like a similar experience to what we do at the Play Experience in terms of reconnecting with their childhood and thinking, oh my God, this isn't that complicated, So they actually have to take a day away from soccer or organized sports and just come and let their children run around for a couple of hours. And they've been very positive experiences. It's an eye-opening experience for the university students studying to be teachers. It's an eye-opening experience for the parents. And then to just watch the children get lost in materials for hours and hours and hours. And we typically, run these for 4 to 6 hours. And children are totally immersed, don't have a lot of altercations or fights, plenty of materials for everybody. Just beautiful to see play out. So I think access is important, and commodification in terms of a restriction on the child's right to play, and providing kids with opportunities for exploring these open-ended free materials is a way for us to sort of start addressing some of those issues that I've talked about.
Good. Okay, well, let's see. I like these new phones that we've gotten, a whole lot. They're very colorful and edible. Okay, good. Well, and just in conclusion, I think I would like to call attention to two innovations, if you will. One really began in the 80s within NAEYC, and its establishment of what they were first called caucuses, but now called interest forums. And we are all part of the Play Policy and Practice Interest Forum of NAEYC and facilitators of that. And the interest forum really is an opportunity for all of our voices to merge together and become unified as the support communication to and with our teachers. And one of the initiatives that the Interest Forum is pioneering within our affiliate structure is to build within the local state or chapters an entity called Play Chapters. Just as our governing boards and those affiliates have vice presidents of professional development, etc., we now have in several states, including Florida and California, and I think Pennsylvania is working on it, New Mexico is working on it, these things called Play Chapters to raise to the consciousness and offer an organizational infrastructure so that the research that teachers seek can be shared with them, new opportunities for play education involving hands-on experiences like we're referring to here can flow more freely and therefore become a tool for our teachers to strengthen their professional practice. I think that concludes my comments at this point. I'd like to refer back to Jim and Michael and see if they might have any coda or closing comments that they would like to offer. And I would like to offer to you, as a member of the TASP, the Association for the Study of Play, this splendid opportunity to share with you playfully the importance of what is it we're doing. Good.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're using these old phones, and there's somebody on the party line. They've been asking to be able to use this line now, so we're going to have to sign off.
Brilliant.
Awesome. Great. I took some notes.
Oh, good.
Tonight, we're going to get